Hello Chipsters, it's Gav and welcome to another one of my videos. Today we're looking at some 6mm World War II. It's a project that I just returned to off and on, and it's my Normandy project. Uh, to be honest with you, it's coincidental that it's obviously the D-Day commemoration, or around then, but it is really just a coincidence. I just happened to have these covered in dust and had to really de-dust them and get to work on them again just to finish them off. Well, this section anyway. So I've been basing these four guys to they come on a strip of 4. In fact, let's just here is said strip of 4. I've actually lightened these up a lot more, um, so that they'll stand out slightly from the bases. These older ones have got more darker, probably truer colours. Well, for 6mm anyway. So yeah, I just add as I've said to you guys before. I like the bases to be like little, as if little storyboards. That they're advancing over some Normandy, uh, bocage country. The main bocage type of stuff would be done, as I've got a load of hedges and stuff already done. But yeah, I do a little, like this one's got a part mortar round on there that's gone off. Different bushes. The little dots are just supposed to be meadow flowers. Just go with it. um, Bits of rubble is still got some masonry on. That's all just blue foam, I should say. I will put on the sides what these are because they are hard to see when I do it. I believe, looking through my glasses, that's a Bren gun. I'm wondering if I should have put the Bren gun teams with the guys themselves. 6-pounder. These Bacchus figures, and on the whole with this lot, Bacchus. Any vehicles are Bacchus, apart from one. So yeah, 6-pounder. Again, I've just done different types of rubble. Most of the country houses tended to be in that like honey coloured sandstone, I believe it is, of Normandy. A 2-inch mortar there. We call them 81mm mortars these days. This is the only one that I've still got to slightly finish this off, and they've all got to be sprayed with varnish yet. But we've got a brewed up tank. Would they be stood around a brewed up tank like that? No, they wouldn't. But it wasn't originally brewing up. I just was having it knocked out. Platoon command here with his wireless operator, as they would say in those days. A couple of lads just on platoon runner or something like that. So I've just got a brewed up. You can buy decals for these little things, but I just think it's more expense. So yeah, my painted on ones aren't as good, but they suffice, especially when you stood up looking down on them. Again, more infantry crossing the different countryside. It's all a bit of a muchness really, but it won't take long to pick up each base. Another platoon commander. That was obviously on a. You get a load of like obviously for a cut. I think it's for a company, or you can use it as a battalion. These are Lloyd carriers. They tended to be used for towing. In this case, the 6-pounders. But their backers, they're very. I think the backers, yeah, they're very nice. And this is again just going along some country lane, a bit of an embankment on the side, a few flowers, the odd bushes and whatever. Another Bren gun. Sometimes I'll put a bit of paint on top of once I've put some white glue, watered down PVA over the top of the. This is Woodland Scenics. It's the stuff that's really fine. I sometimes put it on the trees just to make a difference, like little leaves. Sometimes I don't. I believe I did on this one. But I then go over with once I've done the white glue goes off and sets it nice and hard, I dry brush a bit of lighter colour on, usually. and then I haven't done it on some of these, but I'll normally go around the outside of the grass with like some black brown, and just to define it. That isn't a particularly fantastic shell hole. I'll do another bit of a paint around that. You can see the white bit of milliput that I've used, and that's another. I have to keep looking because it's 6mm and through the camera. That's another brain gun, but I think I'm going to have to write on what these are. Yes, another Lloyd carrier. Lots of Lloyd carriers. I think I've got 3 6-pounders. I've only done 2 so far, I think. Here's one of the other 6-pounders. These could take on the German medium tanks, like the Mark IV, quite easily. However, they did struggle against Panthers and obviously Tigers, but they had one less crew than the 17-pounder, and they were a lot easier to move around by hand. Where the 17-pounder in the towed form was, it was blooming hard to move around, and the muzzle, when it fired, the muzzle blast would often, especially in a dry Normandy scenario, would kick up a load of dust. Put a few, just again, some very faint black brown, as some different vehicle tracks of some description. This is just blue foam. I've tried to make some coniferous trees. Probably could do with being a bit darker. 3-inch mortar. I have to think we'd call it an 81mm mortar. I think these, well, in my day. But these have got the fine stuff over the top that's done as a grass. Again, it's just to give some variety, really. Another Bren, I believe. There is some Piat teams in there as well. I think that's the last of the Lloyd carriers. Better get some more stuff from Total, I suppose. And we've got a Piat. I think did they have a range of about, I can't remember if it's 50 metres or 100 metres. Black line that a bit just to make it stand out. This one was meant to have, I just got lazy, this was supposed to have some coiled up barbed wire. It's an old emplacement that's been hit. There's supposed to be sandbags that have been blown all over the place. And I was being lazy, and I got a bit of stretch sprue from the 1 in 35 figures, and I just thought, I'll put it over there for now. Another Bren gun. So that's it for those. I've got several on lolly sticks I'm still working on. These are all Bren carriers. So you could do personnel carriers more than the Lloyd carriers. They could tow as well, but yeah, really nice. I'm still working on these, lightening them up, and I've just got a little allied star on them. This one I have lightened up. Little dispatch rider as well, Don Arm, I think they used to call them. And some like this was, I might not use this. I had a bit of putty left, and I was trying to do a small blockhouse that's been knocked, had chunks blown out of it. But I may not use that. It doesn't look particularly great. But that's what I do. Bit of putty, bit of foam, blue foam. There's not a lot to it, to get a bit of, some telling us a small story. So there you go. I have obviously I'm going to see this through in the sense of I'll get these Bren carriers mounted and the infantry mounted on bases, and see those through. And then I have got the Germans to do. They don't have as much because I bought 2 company bags from Bacchus, and you got enough for an infantry company. And I think there's a couple of pack 45s, a couple of small half tracks for prime movers for moving them. But you don't get a load. I've shown off a load of the tanks that I've had from the old Heroics and Ross ones that I was given years ago. But I still need to. There's lots of things I need to get for this project. Really, not a lot of, because I'm not fighting huge tank battles or anything like that. It'll be a pack of, like, say, 6 Bacchus Stugs. I'd like probably like I'd have to get some tigers because they were obviously in Normandy. I will and you get like Bacchus do, I think 3. I can't remember how much for 3 for a 5, or is it something like that? I don't know when I'm going to get these out down the track. Literally, British. I'd like a few things. I love Churchills, so I'd like to get 3 Churchills. I'd like 3 75mm Shermans, because the British use Shermans, obviously in Normandy, uh, but they don't do a deal where you get the Sherman and the Firefly Sherman. So I'd have to then buy another, and it all adds up. You know what I mean? So it is and when. This is just a project I come to when I fancy doing some. These are all covered in dust, and um, none of them were painted or anything like that. They were just been stuck down, and the original building, little bits of stuff had been put on them, but that was about it. So I've just spent a couple of evenings just putting them all together before I go back to other things. So yeah, I might show. I probably won't show these brain carriers off and the other infantry until I've got more to show, really. But it's quite. People say it's 6mm is cheap. I don't think anything really is nowadays. You can easily blow a fair bit of money and not have a huge amount to show for it. But at the same time, you don't really need a lot. As I say, you can have 3 Shermans. If you're fighting a company or a platoon, a platoon, company, a battle, even battalion. You only had so many tanks, say in the British Commonwealth side, allocated to a particular. They'd be put to whatever. How many tanks to whatever position you had to take on. The Germans obviously were really good at doing their ad hoc battle groups, where they could literally throw, 1 Tiger, 2 Panthers, 4 Mark IVs, and a company of infantry together. I don't know, and a couple of maybe mobile anti-aircraft guns. So there's lots of things you can do to it doesn't cost a lot, but it does in the sense of if you was to buy all these outright, if that makes sense. But I just enjoy, as I say, it's just a project I pick up and put down when I feel like it, and I hadn't done any for months and months. So it's good to have these put in my little box with the rest of them. And at some point we'll get a game on with them. It's just when, because I haven't even done the German infantry yet. And as I say, I'd like to do a few add-ons that you would have seen in Normandy. With the British. Or Canadians for that matter, but you know what I mean. This is basically, I believe, I've got a great book called The Battle of the Odon. I probably haven't even pronounced that right, and that really is a good book, and it goes through several brigade and attacks, and on the German side, the defense, who had what and that, and I'm going to try and base some stuff around that with these little guys all obviously being different regiments for that particular tabletop. And I wanted to do it if I ever get round to it, as not just a war game, but just if I could get it as the historical side of it, with some obviously some bits I'm going to have to interchange and stuff, but just to tell the story of that particular battalion or company's attack, or on the German side, the defensive side, or both sides, obviously, because it's only solo, but yeah, just saying, like, comparing it to what happened on the real fight for that particular farmhouse, village, ridge, whatever it happened to be at the time. Anyway, what do I think of the figures? Very nice. I had a couple of miscasts. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Let me see. It wasn't enough for me to start writing off to Mr. Bacchus, whoever he is. That one's obviously not formed at all. That one, as you can see, his helmet and everything is tiny. I understand you're on to get the detail. Everything has to be really, there's a chance of things going wrong. If there'd been much more than that, I think I'd got another section that had the same thing. And yeah, it would have been nice for whoever was packing them to have noticed that and put them aside, but they didn't. But apart from that, the figures themselves are really nice. I like them. Um, as I say, I've done these slightly lighter just to get them to jump slightly more on the from the base compared to the other types that I've painted. Um, Vehicles are very nice. I'm not going to even go on accuracy as long as it looks like a Bren carrier, it looks like a Lloyd carrier, but I'm happy with that. And that's not a swing at back. I'm just saying I've no idea. You know, people will always go on about, oh, it's missing this or it's missing that, whether it's a 1 in 35 scale or these tiny little 6 mils. But it looks like a Lloyd carrier to me, and I do know what a Lloyd carrier looks like, so that's good enough for me. So yeah, next time, you know, join me in Normandy again if you fancy it. I might change the sprue over because it's really annoying me for some coiled up wire, and just get some thin copper wire, and I usually put a lighter over it just to make it a bit more malleable. Although at this scale it's pretty malleable already. I usually paint some metal primer over it, and as in like the Mr. whatever metal primer. But yeah, very nice. I enjoy doing these. So the bases aren't to everybody's taste. A lot of people would just like a bit like the Lloyd carriers, really, just a smaller base even than that. But I like to tell my little stories on there, and as I say, this one that's brewed up. It wasn't brewed up at the time, which is why they were stood around it. But I couldn't resist. Once it actually fell off the base because I hadn't glued it on properly, and when I came to put it back on, I just thought, you know what, if I cut the little plug under the turret off, tilt it to one side, use the same bushes from Woodland Scenics, but painted as smoke, and fire or whatever, it'll do the job. Anyway, look after yourselves. Thanks for stopping by and taking a look. I have no idea what's coming up on future videos. There'll be some more I haven't started on the 1 in 35 Panzer Grenadier from the Ardennes yet, but he will be started soon. I really need to get on. I've got 2 days where I can't go out with Nugget because I've knackered my leg, and I'm having to take that slightly easier. So I can get back on my Napoleonics because I've got some of those to show you. I just haven't really done anything. I haven't done any 40k stuff for a while. The Semovente, that was it. I'm hoping to get the Semovente painted this week. It should have been the weekend, but trials and tribulations of life made sure that didn't happen. But so yeah, that was it. Yeah, I've been. Might as well show you. I don't know if this is really going to work. I've tried to be building a building. Of course, I have gone into building for the 15 mil. After 6 mil, it looks giant, doesn't it? But it's going to be for my head problems. It's going to be for my 1945 project anyway. Oh, the Oder front. Thank you, Gav. Yes, the Oder front. I've still got it. I still haven't even done the 15 till 6. I haven't still done any more with that yet, but I have been working on that building. I've got some ideas that I'm still thrashing out. So hopefully that'll be the backdrop building for that and the Jagdpanzer. Thank you very much, Rob. I don't know if you'll hear this one. You're probably only going for the 15 mil stuff, but Rob sent me some German paratroopers, which I've put in another drawer and I can't reach now. But some 15 mil paratroopers for that. I just wanted some moving along in the background, and I think they should just be the job. So thanks, Rob. I appreciate that, Mara. Right, look after yourselves, and we'll catch each other soon on another video.